So now we've got a good understanding of the broad concept of guidance. I want to introduce you to a couple of ideas about guidance and technology, and it's really very simple. The first point I'd like to make to you is that if we think about one of our guidance types, if we take the idea of verbal guidance, and of course with verbal guidance we're thinking about things such as instructions, persuasive communication, coaching points. In fact, let me put these in there. Coaching points we are referring to with verbal guidance. We are talking about persuasive communication, which we might have learned on other parts of our course is very important for the cognitive element of attitudes, persuasive communication. We're also talking about the notion of instruction, and because of course we're providing verbal, oral commands or guidance to people. So if we can use certain technological solutions to make that either more available, more powerful, or more consistent. So the first thing I'm going to say to you, and I always feel whenever I do these kind of technology ones that probably us that are involved, the adult world that's involved with this course development stuff on like A-levels and GCSE and all this kind of stuff, we're probably way behind the curve in reality on this sort of technological side, as you'll probably agree in a second. But if we think about technology such as MP3 and MP4, what does that effectively mean? Well, it means that the verbal guidance, the instruction, the coaching points, the communication from maybe the world's very, 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 very best coaches can be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, etc., etc. The best coach. So these coaches can be available constantly, 24 hours a day, to everyone. Now, we've got a bit of an example of that right now, because right now I am acting as if I'm acting as your PE teacher, and I'm using an MP4 format, albeit that does have some visual element to it as well. But my speech, my auditory is that verbal side. Now, okay, it's not coaching points, but it's clearly providing guidance, instruction, coaching, educationally, communication. It's providing that in a constantly available format. And of course, the thing about verbal guidance in the modern era is that that's absolutely achievable. In fact, we could even argue that it is sort of inevitably necessary that is provided, because of course if a performer can get world-class coaching online, is there still the same relevance for the instructions coming from the coach on the field or wherever it happens to be? The feedback side of it, absolutely. So of course, what are we talking about here? Let's make sure we've got the key words down here of digital audio. I think we've addressed that point already with what I've just said. And let's also say what I said a moment ago, it's constantly available. Okay, constantly available. And I'm pretty confident that people who are watching this, what you're doing now is an example, but I'm pretty confident that all of you at some point have gone online to find some kind of coaching guidance. It's very, very typical. Now, the other type of verbal guidance technologically I'd like you to think about is what we would call app-based guides. Okay, app-based guides. And what we're talking about here is that these apps, they respond to you. Okay, they respond to you. So think about those classic examples of sort of a running app on your S7 Edge or on your iPhone or whatever. And what they're going to do, if you go out for a run and you set that the rate that the pace you're going to run to is pace X, and you fall behind pace X, the app is going to respond to you with its GPS and going to say to you, speed up, go faster, catch up, push more, whatever. It's going to provide that instruction to you. Okay. So it's what we call automated instructions. Automated instructions. Now, I'm not yet aware of anybody who has become, an Olympic 1500 meter runner from training that way. But the point would be that you can receive verbal guidance and feedback through that process anyway. All right, let's move things on. Oops, grabbed the wrong part of my screen there. Let's move things on here, and I want to address now the concept of visual guidance. And remember that in the traditional sense, what we're talking about with visual guidance is we're talking about things such as demonstration. Okay, we're talking about things such as demonstration. And we have mentioned things like video guidance already, but let's see if we can take this a little bit further. We are definitely talking about things such as video displays. Again, can we make the same points? Visuals which are not released in batches because we happen to be practice and our coach happens to be in the same space with us. But no, video displays that are available constantly, perhaps on YouTube, perhaps wherever it might be most relevant. And the other point is we're talking about the idea of world-class demos. Now, I am going to put my kind of reputation on the line here, and I'm going to say that with the proliferation in the modern era of easy access to the world's best performers on demand and their demonstrations on demand, I think the quality of sporting performance is going to dramatically increase in the next generation. So in the next 5 to 15 years, I personally believe that the quality of athletic performance at elite level is going to dramatically increase because of the abundance and proliferation of video of the best performers on the planet to every person who has a Wi-Fi connection. Now, I realize that's not every person on Earth, and there might be kind of like a poverty gap there, which sometimes we call the digital divide, but nevertheless, I do think that's going to happen. The other point that you might want to think about is that we've got the concept of coaching apps. Coaching apps which not only provide people with coaching, but provide coaches with the better potential to be better coaches. So we call those ones coaching apps. Coaching apps. Apps which allow the coach on the field, by the pool, on the athletics track, whatever it happens to be, to access better quality coaching. And there's some good ones and there's some bad ones. So overall, the quality of coaching should go up. And the other point we'd make is we've got the notion of video records for comparison. So if we do a block of 6 weeks of skill development on passing on the left hand in rugby, say, we can take clips and footage of the before and after and make very, very clear comparisons about the difference and the impact that has made. So look, we've got some interesting things there about the effect of technology on both verbal and visual guidance. And I have to say to you, I think this is one of the great developments in the world of sport and sporting performance that we're going to see the impact of in the coming years. In many ways, it seems like a very, very simple concept. But think about what you're accessing now. You're accessing teaching think about it, teaching rather than coaching. You're accessing teaching from James, who records his hopefully good quality teaching, which is available to thousands of people. Is that improving the chances of people to perform better in their PE? One would hope so, and the same can happen with this kind of consideration too. Thanks.